big Hollywood sunglasses and light the torch, because it's cellar time. Welcome to the Crack Cellar, where the prophecy was once recast. I'm Two-Spirit Penguin Daniel.
And I'm Broadcaster Nickels reporting for duty.
And today we have a very important mission. That mission is to steal the Captain America shield from Anthony Mackie and bring it back to white supremacy. Broadcaster Nickels, are you up for the challenge?
Dude, I don't know. I'm kind of on Anthony Mackie's side now, the way they did him Raw in the first episode.
What a weird first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I didn't expect to like this show, and I went in it kind of just being like, well, you know, I sort of liked WandaVision, and I like Mandalorian a lot, so they have a good track record. So it's hard to discount them at this point. When Loki comes out, I'm gonna fucking be all over that shit too.
It's also, I don't mean to cut you off, but I kind of want to dispel the illusion that you might be under a genjutsu, if you will.
Oh shit.
I want to propose a theory here. There's not really anything else to fucking watch, you Spirit Penguin. So when you say these things, just remember that there's nothing else on the plate. It's kind of hard to not eat it.
Yeah,
you know?
That is a solid point, Broadcaster Nickels. It is a desert out there right now.
I mean, our brother is like just watching the absolute schlock fest after schlock fest on Netflix right now.
Is he like watching This Is Us or something?
Oh man, there's this fucking really gay show called The Magicians.
What?
He watches that and I'm just like, oh my god, this is just all garbage. And he's like, yeah, it is garbage. I'm just like, God, you're just a garbage compactor. You just fucking
you're just a garbage compactor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, as you were saying with the Winter Soldier.
Solid point, Broadcaster Nickels. However, I think I would have liked WandaVision even without the content drought we have right now. And Mandalorian, fucking, I don't give a fuck about the content drought. Mandalorian is the new Game of Thrones, in my opinion. Or at least it was until Kathleen Kennedy launched her Phantom Menace against Jon Favreau. And who knows what'll happen now.
Well, rumors have it that the majority of the board members want Gina Carano back, so we'll wait till that rumor manifests into reality. But
is that the Quartering's opinion? Who said that?
The Quartering? No, I think that's like straight out of the main leaker for that whole corner of the internet. I think his name's Mr. DVD or something.
Oh, Overlord DVD.
Yeah,
that
Overlord
guy.
DVD.
Okay.
Or Doomcock. I always get the two mixed because I think like they're intertwined with each other.
Okay. Doomcock is the guy that has industry insiders, and Overlord DVD is the conspiracy theorist.
Okay.
He I followed him back in like the beginning of Rise of Skywalker, end of Last Jedi era, where everyone was pissed off at Star Wars and there was just conspiracies flying everywhere about it. And that dude's a little off the chain.
He was thriving in the ad revenue.
I'm sure. I think that's what made him. I think it's what made his channel.
So made all those fuckers.
Yeah, the Last Jedi. It's funny they all talk so much shit about the Last Jedi, but the Last Jedi basically gave them all careers. So I don't know how much they really hate it. But back to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What a weird start to the show. It's clear to me that this is a movie they wanted to make, but Disney was like, well, we don't want to make a movie right now, and miniseries are hot, so how about you turn your little movie into a miniseries and you put it on Disney Plus, and we'll package it with a price increase. And that sounds like a good plan for business. And by God, it worked, didn't it? It became the most popular streaming show of all time, they're claiming. They're claiming it is the #1 stream show ever in a 24-hour period, which, man, why? Like, I like the Winter Soldier.
That has to hurt WandaVision. That's another man versus woman thing right there. Is just like, oh, the man show's better.
Listen, I like Bucky as much as the next guy, but there's nothing too special about the Winter Soldier. And Falcon is like, he was supposed to become Captain America, so that's what I thought the angle was here. That's literally what I was thinking. Okay, so this is to establish Anthony Mackie as Captain America in a kind of soft touch way before they do a new Captain America movie with Anthony Mackie. Spoiler alert, no, that's not what's happening. They literally take the shield from him in the first episode and give it to some troglodyte who looks like he's straight out at like fucking Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Like, what the fuck? What happened in this episode, Broadcaster Nickels?
I don't know. It's MCU is always like this weird hybrid manifestation of the comics, but I think what they're trying to do is like something like around the Imposter, which was like this black and red costumed alternate Captain America, like from, I think he's from like the late 80s or 90s. I forget.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I had those comic books. So you think that this is based on those comic books?
No. I mean, it's again, it's a hybrid of a lot of things. Like they had Flag Smasher as a villain in it. You could tell that they were setting up Flag Smasher, which is an old villain. And also, you know, if you're talking about like the Captain America mantle arc post Captain America's first actual cycle before like the age reformat happened in the comics and all the old vets got young again and they had their new stories play out and stuff. If you're disregarding that, the cycle was Captain America, Bucky for a minute, and I think Rick Flag had it.
Rick Flag.
Or something like that.
I'm Rick Flag, bitch.
Or I forget his name. It's Rick Flag.
No, that is his name.
Yeah, and then
or wait, maybe it's not his name. I might
Falcon
be confusing him with the
picks it up. But I mean, the story, Anthony Mackie's Falcon not picking up the mantle immediately is pretty true to the comics. He didn't want it initially, and then he like goes through this, you know, vision quest, if you will.
Yeah, so the vision quest. Okay, well, in this episode, more or less, Don Cheadle shows up, and he's like, "Yo, dog, you're not Captain America, dog. This dude down straight from Alabama is going to be Captain American, dog. You know, reparations, son." Reverse
Don Cheadle's like part in this show reminded me of like a Wes Anderson like troll kid, like just like he's just like in the scene. He's just like, yeah, pretty much. He's just like, life sucks, doesn't it, Bucky? Well, bye. It's just like, what the fuck was that? It was so weird and abrupt how he just left him in the museum. He's like, let me take you to this museum of your nightmares and tell you, you know, keep your head up, kid. And just fucking leaves. It was weird.
Yeah, I felt like they were trying to like do like a mental health push because, you know, right now it's really in vogue in the current year of 2021 to really focus on mental health as long as it's politically correct way of focusing on it, of course. And that's what it seems like the whole Bucky storyline is. It's, you know, he's in therapy and it's like they're trying to like sort of legitimize like, oh, I'm just a bad old white guy and I need therapy to undo my whiteness. Sort of the vibe I was getting from the Bucky storyline.
I think it had a lot to do with him killing that kid. I mean, it really focused on that part.
Yeah. Well, every other podcast I listen to has a advertisement for some sort of weird like Internet 4.0 app-based mental health therapy with like on some Zoom call with like a AI generated avatar with deep fake generated vocals saying, "We know you had a hard day today. Please tell us about it in 45 seconds." That
subscribe for $59.99 and talk to a human for 1 hour a week.
Like, I swear to God that we're kind of going down this alley right now with mental health where it's like we want to make sure every cis white male knows it's okay for them to admit they're fucking horrible and they need to go to therapy. And the Winter Soldier is leading us on that happy path, Broadcaster Nickels.
I mean, that fucking dude they got to play Captain America.
Such a goober.
Dude, I couldn't imagine a fucked up more look than what they got. Like, it blew my mind. I'm like, are you guys like trying to go from one of the most handsome men in Hollywood to this dude? I don't know what happened to his fucking nose. What I mean, it was so noticeable.
For a split second, I thought I accidentally downloaded season 4 of The Boys, but no, this is real MCU.
That's what it totally was something like that.
It was, yeah.
It's a Garth Ennis move for sure. Let's just make Captain America fucking just a FUD. An Elmer FUD.
Yeah. But the tone and the pacing and the direction of this show in the first episode definitely cemented it in my mind as they wanted this to be a movie. And they were told, you can't make this a movie. And so they said, okay, we'll make it a miniseries, which is a series of movies, because it just felt like a movie. Every single aspect of it felt like we're trying to be as much like a movie as possible while being a TV show.
Yeah, I feel like that's their tone with most. I mean, WandaVision definitely had a series. I think,
yeah, WandaVision felt
they
like
were
serialized
focusing on series tropes so much that it lended it to being a series more. But really, the budget wise, I mean, they both got the budget to be more than a series.
Yeah. Well, Falcon and the Winter Soldier apparently is only 6 episodes long, so this is a true Band of Brothers miniseries.
Yeah, I take it back. This one definitely costs more money, though.
Yeah, definitely.
The episode count always tells everything.
It really does. And they've made it really clear that there's never going to be another season of this either. Like, I don't know if you've seen the
same thing about WandaVision, right?
They alluded to it with WandaVision. But
couldn't say it for sure because it's a woman.
Yeah, but with Falcon and Winter Soldier, they've been very clear that this is a one and done. This is it. There will never be another season. Again, pointing to this was supposed to be a movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely has the vibe. The feel and the vibe of the movie is. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what do you think, Broadcaster Nickels, based off this first episode? Where are you at with this show? Because to me, I'm not super impressed with it. And I think this may be the first chink in Disney Plus's, we're taking all of our A-list actors from the MCU and we're turning them into TV series to prop up our shitty platform strategy. I think this might be the first clink in the armor of that strategy.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of everything Marvel to begin with, so I always come to these series thinking they're going to be a disappointment, and anything that is remotely good, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll give it a point where it might not necessarily deserve one. So, in that lens, it's all right. It's It's adequate. It's nothing special. It doesn't really. I mean, we got 5 more episodes, so there could be a huge bombshell. It might set up something bigger. My theory is these series are really just all setting up the next real push in the phase of the MCU, which is a whole new generation of characters, which Wanda pretty much all but alluded to with her son Wiccan. Wakan, whatever you want to say his fucking name is, and then Speed and her 2 sons, essentially, that she's going to try to bring back. So, I mean, that's New Avengers right there.
Yeah.
And and then there's Hawkeye's series that's already setting up Kate Bishop, which is the younger female Hawkeye. I can't help but think the series is really just setting up Anthony Mackie. I guarantee you the series ends with Anthony Mackie picking up the shield, or Bucky Barnes picking up, or the Falcon, or Bucky Barnes picking up the shield, because that's what happens in the comics, and then eventually one of them passes it to the other. So I don't know how they're going to do it in the MCU, but that's what this 6 episodes is going to be. I can almost guarantee you.
So before we end this riveting conversation about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, let me get your prediction. Your official Crack Cellar prediction. Does Falcon become the Winter Soldier? Or does Winter Soldier become the Falcon? Go!
I mean, I can't confirm nor deny, but Scarlett Johansson, my future ex-wife, new movie, Black Widow, will be at least 3 times better than what we're talking about right now. So, just because, Scarlett called me.
Yeah, I mean, Colin Joust is laying down the D with that. Can you?
What?
Let's just really
Who's
talk.
Colin Joust?
Colin Joust is her husband in real life, Broadcaster Nickels, and he is like a dorky nerd guy from SNL who's, granted, probably the best cast member of SNL right now, which is an indictment on the current talent. Well, it's not. I'm not complimenting him by saying that. It's an indictment on the current talent level of the cast, but he is probably the best one on the cast right now. He's like this nerdy, like 29-year-old, maybe 30 flat. Like, he's your age. He's probably a little younger than you. Dude, who just bagged Scarlett Johansson out of nowhere, and like, they're like straight up in love, bro. Like, it's not like some like normal like Hollywood couple. Like, bro,
I've heard enough.
Colin Joust just like bagged your woman, man. So what are you gonna do about that? What's your strategy?
I can't discuss the strategy on air.
Well, on that note, Broadcaster Nickels, are you ready to get to our preview of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad?
What guy's wearing? Unbelievable.
Can you believe that guy just brought down Scarlett Johansson? Like, it's like, dude, he looks like a FUD. Like, he looks like the new Captain America in this episode. Like, he looks like, what? How did he just bring down one of the hottest
Pete
women?
Davidson looks more like a FUD than this guy, but yeah. I mean, between these two guys, I'm glad she got him instead of Pete Davidson. I don't know what the hell Kate Beckinsale was thinking with Pete Davidson. Every time I think of that, I'm just like, Jesus, Pete must be packing or something to lock down Kate.
Yeah, well, that's the rumor, and I think that Pete Davidson himself started that rumor. But anyway, Broadcaster Nickels, are you ready to get to our preview of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad?
I'm still reviewing his tweets from 10 years ago. I don't know. Maybe.
What's that? You want more Crack Cellar? This is good. Join your lords on Twitter at The Crack Cellar and Facebook.com/The Crack Cellar.
Hey, you over there. Are you a straight up Chad or a strong woman? Well, you can find us on Apple Podcasts and your favorite podcasting app. Or, if you're a straight up beta cuck, find us on YouTube with the rest of the Cloud Chasers. And we're back with our preview of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Not to be confused with Suicide Squad. Broadcaster Nickels was a flaming piece of shit. Now we're greeted with what feels like a soft reboot. I don't know about you, but when I watched that trailer, I was like, wait a second. They got rid of all the shit I didn't like from Suicide Squad, and they kept the one thing I did like, Margot Robbie. You there?
I'm still looking at James Gunn's tweets. Hold on a second. Okay, I guess he's not a pedophile. Yeah, it's an all right looking movie.
Man, you know, when we decided to review the Made in the Abyss movie 3, we really didn't plan on previewing James Gunn's
There
Suicide
is
Squad.
no connection. That was not planned.
That is an accident, people. Please.
James Gunn's lawyers.
Do not draw any lines where no lines were drawn. But what a fucking cast, dude. I was shocked when I watched this trailer and I realized we got John Cena, we got Idris Elba, we got Margaret Robbie, we got fucking Takeshi Kovacs, Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah.
We got Michael Rooker. And
it's good to see that guy get acting gigs.
And last but not fucking least, the true shining star of this trailer, and I'm guessing the entire movie at large, a man called King Shark, who is voice acted by the man, Sylvester Stallone. Holy shit, was that a stroke of goddamn genius casting him as King Shark?
Dude, it is a stroke of genius. And now that Stallone is canonly King Shark,
yes,
we more than fucking ever, do we need Tim Dillon himself to voice Gorilla Grodd, because that showdown is going to happen. All right,
dude, the world is not ready for that showdown.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's A+ material, right? S-class business. All right, I'm making a LinkedIn account. Tim Dillon, reach out to me.
Overall, though, this looks 10 times better than the original Suicide Squad movie. What do you think?
I think that's an understatement. I mean, just off the trailer alone, it's kind of like the same thing, the same effect Snyder's cut had on the Justice League. I mean, as soon as I saw that trailer, I was like, yeah, this is just going to be absolutely better. There's no doubt about it.
It's not so much will it be better, it's like, will it be universally better, galactically better, interdimensionally better?
Reboot?
It's got to be, right? Because it's weird that Margaret Robbie is still Harley Quinn.
No one is like, there's no actor swapping. Because I thought for a second Idris Elba was playing Will Smith's character, but he's not Deadshot.
No, he's not.
So,
no, I think that there might be one holdover from the original movie other than Margaret Robbie, but
yeah, it's Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, Captain Boomerang. That's who it was.
Well, Rick, Captain Flag, whatever his name is, RoboCop.
Joel Kinnaman wasn't in the first one.
Yeah, he was.
What?
Yeah, dog.
He was in the original Suicide Squad from 2016. I don't remember that.
It's okay, dude. But he was there. I promise you.
Was he like only in like a couple scenes? Like,
no, he was.
I do not remember.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who played Captain Boomerang, the guy who played Captain, Margot Robbie, I think are the only three. Is there somebody? Oh yeah, what's her name? Obviously, the leader, the CIA chick, or I forget her name.
Yeah,
director or something. But she's in almost every single. She was in Birds of Prey too. I think Birds of Prey had maybe someone from the original Suicide Squad as well. Maybe two. But yeah. That's how it goes.
That's crazy, dude. I'm guessing I fell asleep on Suicide Squad. Was he in the second half?
Nah, he was you remember like the beginning of the movie and the military like caged area where they're letting all the prisoners out for the first time and they're seeing daylight, and he's like showing them the firearms and stuff.
I thought that was that's him. Wow.
Yeah, he plays it. Yeah, he's playing the same role.
Well, Broadcaster Nickels, I must have been passing out when he entered the show. What point did he enter the movie? Just curiously.
Fuck, I can't remember. 15 minutes. 10 minutes.
Now I'm starting to wonder how much of that movie I actually saw.
I mean, do you remember how it ended?
Oh, hell no. I know for sure I fell asleep before the ending, but I thought I made it halfway through-ish, but now I'm thinking maybe I only made it a very brief amount of time into that movie. I remember seeing Jared Leto's Joker and being like, oh my God, and then falling asleep right after that. So
yeah, that was one of those scenes that like had like literally no connection to the movie at all. Besides pretty much just saying Harley Quinn's in an abusive relationship, essentially, with the Joker. That's all it illustrated.
yeah.
But I mean, anybody that's ever opened a DC comic knows that.
Yeah, and what I know is that this movie is going to get a hard R because we see some really brutal shit from King Shark in this trailer. There's a part where he just rips a dude in half, which is pretty brutal. But that's not even the worst one. Like, there's a part where he's like in the jungle, like they're infiltrating some like enemy camp, and he just walks behind some. He just walks behind some dude and just like takes him from behind and rips him and eats him. Like, and goes, he hears Sylvester Stallone go, num num.
Dude, John Cena's line was hilarious, dude. He's like, if this whole beach was filled with dicks, I would suck them if it was for America.
Yeah, John Cena looks really good in this, and his banter with Idris Elba seems to be one of the highlights of the movie based on the trailer.
He's like has this ridiculous helmet on, and he's like casting shade at fucking the hottest chick in the movie. He's like, you have a fucking toilet bowl in your head, all right? He's just
there's a lot of good one-liners in this trailer.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I really liked, in a really weird way, watching Captain Boomerang drink a Pib Extra, like in like the hero shot sequence in the trailer. I don't know why, but that cracked me the fuck up.
Yeah, what is up with that? Is that like a weird product placement, or is a character known for Dr. Pibb?
I don't know, dude, but Pib Extra is like the unsung hero of Pops. Like, no one knows about it, and it's like the bomb diggity. So I get where he's coming from, but also I feel like Pib Extra might be paying some money to get that might be.
Pib Extra is just like the alternate world of sodas. It's there with like RC Cola, you know?
Don't compare Pib Extra to RC Cola.
What? I love RC Cola.
Pib Extra is on a plane above.
I feel like RC Cola is what Pepsi was trying to do.
It is, yeah.
RC Cola beat him to it.
RC Cola is Pepsi if it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I am glad they kept Margaret Robbie.
You said yeah with such disdain. You're just like, yeah.
Margaret Robbie is the Coca-Cola classic of Harley Quinns, in my opinion. I love her as Harley Quinn. That was the one thing about the original movie I liked.
I think it's the only thing people liked.
Yeah.
I think it's the only thing that honestly sold the movie to begin with. I don't think if they got Harley Quinn or Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, that movie would have ever went off the ground. Let's be real here. There's no, yeah.
Probably not. I think it's probably one of Will Smith's most embarrassing roles of all time.
Yeah, I mean, if Margot Robbie wasn't there, Will Smith would have been like, take a knee. Anybody there for some After Earth fans?
My daughter, Midnight Sun, is going to play Harley Quinn now.
You know what I'm talking about, right? That terrible movie. Yeah, okay.
How did Will Smith become such a meme?
I think he always was a meme, but there's just like different times we grew up in before memes were deeply ingrained in our society as a propaganda tool.
Well, speaking of propaganda, Zack Snyder is the executive producer on this movie. So, Broadcaster Nickels, is James Gunn's The Suicide Squad the first brick in the path to hashtag restore the Snyderverse?
I hope so. They need, honestly, the main reason deep down why I want the Snyderverse to continue is because he's the only one that's been talking about Green Lanterns in like the past like 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Ryan Reynolds deserves redemption for that terrible that terrible, he's almost written all of his wrongs. He still has Blade and Green Lantern to write off his list, all right? So he's almost there. Give the man his dues, all right?
Yeah. I think Blade's in a very precarious position. I'm not very excited about what's coming on that front.
I'm kind of excited just because they're both under the same roof now as so Deadpool and Blade are going to be in the same universe now, and Deadpool's a really successful character and he was in Blade, and I think if they can get Wesley Snipes to at least reprise his role as the original Blade for at least one movie, they have a really cool opportunity there. Like almost like Hugh Jackman and him had the opportunity in Deadpool with the what was that shitty movie? The Wolverine. Was that it?
Are you talking about the one with Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool originally?
Yeah, well, it wasn't even Deadpool. I mean, they called him Deadpool, but like Deadpool. He wasn't Deadpool. He was just like three characters mashed together.
It was like the Skynet version of Deadpool.
But I thought, what if it wasn't a continuation of the Snyderverse? And what if this was a cool connection? Like, what if they made fun of the original movie with Harley Quinn, being in that abusive relationship with Jared Leto's Joker? and they at the end credits scene, it's Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and he just like passes by Harley Quinn in the street. He's like, I don't give a fuck about you. You can leave. It's like something like that,
From your lips to God's ears, Broadcaster Nickels. One thing I am not looking positively at in this trailer, probably the only thing that has me concerned, is Pete Davidson. Now,
forgot he was in this movie.
He seems to be a low-level character in the movie. However, Pete Davidson is a horrible actor, and just his involvement in it, period, is troubling to me.
Well, he wasn't in the trailer almost at all besides the walk-up. So, in fact, that was the only part he's in.
Yeah.
He's in that slow-mo walk, which makes me think they're going to fucking just kill him off.
Really I hope so. I hope it's like
time.
I hope it's like Deadpool 2 where like they kill the X-Force off.
I hope that happens with a lot of them, to be honest. Because I'll be honest, they have a few in there that are just losers.
Well, Broadcaster Nickels, when it comes to the Suicide Squad, many thumbs are involved. You don't know where those thumbs are going, either up, down, or sideways, but there are thumbs there, and they're ready.
Well, you know where John Cena will put his for America.
He'll put that thumb wherever America demands, Broadcaster Nickels, but what I need to know is where you put your thumb.
On the American flag every night where I go to bed.
For James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, do you give it the thumbs up, the thumbs down, or the dreaded side thumb?
I'm gonna give it 2 firm, strong thumbs.
You forgot the direction, bro. That's the whole point.
Oh yeah. In my mind, strong and powerful thumbs can only go one way.
Sideways?
Up to the heavens.
You just said more about yourself than you know, Broadcaster Nickels.
I'm gonna go check a mental health website.
I had a really rough day today. My co-host made innuendo about the direction of my penis. Hello, Nicholas. We understand here at corporationmentalhealth.com. We would
I
like
am
to
the
know
mental
more.
health algorithm. Please tell me your ailment.
You're right. You are a strong, powerful person, and the world does not understand you.
This is really how it goes in real life. If anyone's wondering. All right, you have mental health problems? Please click here. What's your age, gender, race? Okay, we've determined what you qualify for. Sorry, you don't qualify for anything with the information you've given us.
Bank account scanned, account de-verified. Broadcaster Nickels, I'm going to go ahead and give this a thumbs up. I'm going to give it a weak thumbs up because Pete Davidson, he makes the thumb wither in the deep, dark cold of the moonlight. That's what Pete Davidson does. And
it's because he took Kate Beckinsale?
It's because he's one of the most talentless hacks I've ever seen in my life. And I don't understand how he got on SNL. I don't understand how he parlayed an SNL that he didn't deserve into a movie career he didn't deserve. I don't understand any of it. And him being a part of it raises red flags in every direction, Broadcaster Nickels. So I cannot in good conscience give this a thumbs up. But I will give it a sort of in-between thumbs up, side thumb, bordering on the two. But it's going to go protruding a little bit up because other than him, it was flawless, just about. I loved almost everything.
All he had was a walk. He didn't even have a line. Listen, and he was far away from the camera.
All it takes is one blood cell infected with AIDS to corrupt the whole batch, Broadcaster Nickels.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Broadcaster Nickels, are you ready to get to our review of Masayuki Kojima's Made in Abyss, Dawn of the Deep Soul?
I am, but just to expand on that Joaquin Phoenix theory real quick, I thought of a cooler idea because in the comics, there is a moment where you find out there's 2 Harley Quinns and the Joker's so batshit fucking insane, he didn't realize that the second Harley Quinn took over the first Harley Quinn for their relationship, and then the first Harley Quinn comes back and beats the shit out of the second Harley Quinn, and Joker's like, what the fuck's going on? And she's just like, you've been had for this many years, you didn't even notice. And he's just like, I guess I didn't. I didn't. Yeah, it's so gangster, I was like, man, that'd be so cool if they did get Jared Leto and Joaquin Phoenix to have like a moment like that, where it just like opens the door and Harlem comes through, and then it's rather Jared Leto or Joaquin Phoenix as Joker, I guess. It could work with both, but that would be super dope to see.
That would be awesome, but I think Joaquin Phoenix is a little bit too much of an actor to partake in something like that.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's done some weird shit.
Yeah, but I don't know. He considers himself like a Daniel Day-Lewis type actor. Like that's what he thinks of himself as. Yeah, like that's who he is in his mind. So I don't see him doing like I wish he would, and I hope he does, but I'm doubtful.
That was a pretty high accolade you just bestowed upon Mr. Phoenix, saying he's like Daniel Day-Lewis.
No, I'm saying he thinks he's Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, okay. I was just like, I mean, I like Joaquin, but I mean, boy, Daniel over there, he fucking comes out of the fucking fog of war and just drops a fucking Emmy award-winning fucking movie.
Yeah. Well, I think in reality he's a poor man's Daniel Day-Lewis. But that's a conversation for another podcast. And we're back with our review of Masayuki Kojima's Made in Abyss: Dawn of the Deep, Deep Soul. And the creator of this movie describes it as the following. Dawn of the Deep Soul continues the epic adventure of plucky Rico.
What is this, a Soul Calibur intro? Two souls clash.
You ruined it, man. Damn it.
Oh, wait, hold on one second. Let me redo it. Two souls intertwine on the battlefield.
Dawn of the Deep Soul continues the epic adventure of plucky Riku and Reg, who are joined by their new friend Nanachi. Together, they descend into the abyss's treacherous fifth layer, the Sea of Corpses, and encounter the mysterious Bondrewd, a legendary white whistle whose shadow looms over Nanachi's troubled past. Bondrewd is ingratiatingly hospitable, but the brave adventurers know things are not always as they seem in the enigmatic abyss. Broadcaster Nickels, first of all, how dare you interrupt my cold open with the hypnosis, okay? That is the holy grail thrown down by either the creator of the show or a random guy on the internet, and you ruined it.
I just get the feeling. I just feel something, that that's not the vision they had intended.
Listen, I read that faithfully and enduringly, okay? And my question...
enduring. That's for sure.
My question to you, Broadcaster Nickels, is Masayuki Kojima related to Hideo Kojima? Because the reason I was introduced to this anime was because Hideo Kojima tweeted about it. It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Does make you wonder. Now I don't know, some dark, deep webs are being spun in my head now. Some connections I don't want to make, I have to do some more investigating before I make too many assumptions. But my gut tells me I don't want them to be related. Because that means Kojima Hideo, to be precise, would be related to, in America, in English, we call it a diddler. But I might call it something different over in Japan. I'm not quite sure.
Who are you to judge art?
This anime, man. I have never liked something, but also had the same thing, like have this weird undertone where it makes me extremely uncomfortable to like watch it at some points. I'm just like, what the sometimes it's like, okay, that's weird, but that's whatever. That's Japanese, whatever. I don't understand it. But then there's other parts in the anime where I don't know. I don't think it's appropriate to talk about children getting boners and being turned on by furries, and whatever the fuck that is.
That's one of the weirder
children, right? They're supposed to be children. They clearly state, unless I'm fucking insane or something, I'm pretty sure they stated that they were children at the beginning of the anime.
Okay. Well, let's be clear. Reg, aka Mega Man, is basically a very, very advanced synthetic organism designed to impersonate a human, but has a blaster cannon and isn't actually a human. We don't know his age. Now,
what about, what's their name? The blonde one. Where they all blush together, and then later on they insinuate that he's getting boners when he's touching that Nanachi's fur, and then you have to think back to that one scene, it's the beginning where they all blush, and it's just like they all know what's going on, and it's just like, wow, there's like some weird like shit going on here.
Yeah. Rico, whatever her name is, she seems to be an early teenage girl, but like a tweenage girl, like probably 13. But it's hard to tell with this art style. This is a weird art style where they draw, like, go no further than the newest character in this movie, Prushka or whatever her name is. She looks like a kid too, but she has large breasts compared to Riku. So it's like, is she older? Is it just the art style that makes them all look like kids? What's happening here? It's very uncomfortable.
I'll tell you what's happening. The anime is getting increasingly more weirder. I didn't say it stopped at that weird shit I was talking about. It just keeps going.
Yeah, and man, they did not take the gas pedal off for the creepiness factor or the gore factor in this movie compared to the anime. Like, this is a cutesy anime movie that at times would make Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors blush.
Yeah.
When it comes to
they
gore.
Had, like, the ending, not to get to it too fast, but it kind of reminded me of that Death Clock song, Briefcase Full of Guts.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, ooh.
It's brutal, man. This is a dark anime hidden in like this weird candy coated shell of like pseudo kid sexualization that makes you uncomfortable. It's a full platter of, we want to make you uncomfortable.
As Tim Dillon would say, it's a good spread.
Yeah. But I will say this. It is much more fast-paced than the anime, and I think that it helped it a lot compared to the anime. Like, this was very easy to digest compared to watching, what was the anime, 12 episodes? I forget. It was short. I think it was 12,
13
right?
episodes.
13.
Yeah, 12, 13 episodes.
This was a lot easier to get through this movie. And it makes me think that the recap movies 1 and 2 that basically surmise the anime probably would have been a much better experience if we just started with those and just skipped the anime altogether.
Yeah, I did some reading on it, and I guess the 2 movies actually have more extra critical material to watch.
Really?
And the original, yeah. And I kind of noticed that when I watched the movie, because especially in the beginning, there were some things they were like talking about, like especially relic wise, that I do not remember in the original 13 episodes at all. Like the relics in the first 13 episodes were still pretty much like all folklore besides like the pickaxe she got, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this one, they had a bunch of like mines and that sun thing that he threw in the water when he was going underneath.
It escalated quickly with the relics, for sure.
Yeah, I was just like, where the fuck they get all these relics? So I think the 2 movies would explain stuff like that.
Interesting. Yeah, so I guess I would say to anyone listening, you should probably just watch the movies and just skip the
go
anime.
3 movies.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
The 13 episodes are considerably older as well. Like the 13 episodes are 2017. I think ended in 2018, and then this newest movie just came out like a year ago, I think, maybe 2, and then the 2 movies before that I think were 2019 or something like that. So they're a couple years at least newer. So better animation probably. better writing. It sounds like maybe less. You know what I'm talking about. But
I don't know. I felt like it might have been more personally. But
yeah, who knows?
I don't know, man. It's hard to say because I've kind of blocked out my original anime watching of the first the anime we watched. I kind of blocked a lot of it out, so I'm not sure if maybe I'm just incorrect, but I felt like when I watched this third movie, which is a sequel to both the first two movies or the original anime, depending on how you look at it, I felt like they doubled down on it a little bit in certain ways. Like there's a scene where Rico and what's her name?
Nanachi?
No,
Trushka?
the new character. Krushka. Yeah, like she sounds like a Russian name.
Prushka.
They have a talk where they start talking about penises.
Yeah,
and they like start describing penises, and then like this is probably the most this is sad, but this is not the most disturbing part of the movie. This is the second most disturbing part, where basically she's describing to Prushka what a penis is, and then she just really happily declares, "Oh, you mean a pop-up hole?" And listen, I noticed, because I had to do a double take on this scene. I rewinded this shit because I was like, they did not just say that. They did not just have her call a penis a pop-up hole. No.
But remember, they made it safe. Remember later on when they're like, "Well, she's not actually my daughter, but you know, you can have family that's not blood related." It's like was this clear out? You're just like, okay, whatever. It's fucked up.
Yeah. So there's in the original Japanese dialogue, they are strongly implying that the villain of this movie, Bondrewd, molested his fake daughter Prushka, and that is bad enough on its own. But what really confirms it for me is the fact that in the dub they censor this part, dude. When I got to this part, I was like fucking obsessed with it because I could not believe that they did it. I was like, no fucking way they did this. So I changed the audio back to the dub to see what it says in the dub. In the dub, she just says, "Oh, you mean a pee-pee," or you like it's something really, really innocent sounding in the dub. But in the Japanese original dialogue, it's a pop-up hole. That's an indictment. The dub censored this shit because they're like, dude, we can't do that.
What?
So you know what they meant when they said this, like in the original, like even the dubbers understood what was happening and they were ashamed of it and they could not let it stand. But that's only the second most disturbing, no, maybe third. It might be only the third most disturbing part of this movie, but let's move on and get to the other stuff later. This movie takes place entirely on the fifth layer. What did you think about that, Broadcaster Nickels? Because I was really looking forward to seeing the sixth layer, because the sixth layer is like this prophesized line in the sand, like the no-go point, right? And they've talked about it from the beginning, and I was really hoping they'd go to the sixth layer. And a spoiler alert, they do, but it's at the very end of the movie. Like it's literally the ending, seeing them go down.
I wouldn't even say that. They show them go traveling down to the sixth floor. They actually don't get there.
No, they show the elevator trip, and that's the credits.
Yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed a little bit in that regard, but I don't know. I was really surprised with, even though we just discussed how much of a potential of a creep Bondrewd is. He was actually one of the cooler villains I've seen in a long time.
He was really very well written and well acted.
Really well. And I was really, take note, Marvel and other people out there, not the child shit, but keeping a good villain around, someone to hate around, don't just kill him off. I thought the fight was dope. His powers were super cool. I thought, well, his like actual superpowers weren't that really that cool, but the origin and how he's powerful and stuff was cool. They weren't just tropey anime shit, you know? And then also, what was I going to say? I forgot what my next thought was going to be, but oh yeah, that's what it was. The white whistles. I thought that was really cool too. How a white whistle actually has to be formed, and the implication of who her mother was and where her dad went and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so
there's some big implications with the white whistles.
Yeah. It's probably one of the biggest cogs that gets moving in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And just so you know, I don't know if you know, but there is a sequel to this movie that was planned already. I don't know how far along it is. Yeah, it's not out yet, but
yeah,
I mean, it sounds like they're not done with these high budget movie adaptations of the manga.
No. And I remember when we were talking about the original, when we reviewed Made in Abyss last year, we were talking about how the anime sucked for the most part, but at the very end it got really good because it showed the backstory with Bondrewd and with how he took Nanachi and his friend, and like that whole thing with Nanachi and his friend. That is basically what this movie is. It delivers on the premise of the end of the anime, the part that was good, that we were like, oh, we wish we had more of that part. That's what this movie is that part that we wish we had more of. So I'm inclined to really like this movie because it literally delivered what I wanted to see from the anime.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that like I also noticed was Bondrewd's like bodies, not like the canisters they called them, but that actual body he had that was like turning into a beast. Like you could tell it was a hybrid of a couple of the beasts that they ran into in their journeys. And I feel like
the eyeballs with tentacles coming out.
Yeah, and I was just when I saw that, I'm just like, I feel like this had to have been explained somewhere. Like I feel like there's like when I saw that, I felt like they just rushed by and they just didn't explain it, period. Or we missed something. Like if you read the manga or something, you get it.
Yeah.
But it was just one of those moments in the anime or in the movie where it's like, man, they're like telling you that he clearly has this chimera body out of nowhere, but I feel like it feels like it was explained, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like we just missed something.
Well, I think all of the best TV, movies, anime, whatever, I think that the thing that makes greatness great is the delivery of mystery. I think that there is this thing where like you can sort of install mystery into something, and the second that you dissolve that mystery, it kind of dissolves the magic at the same time. And in some cases, that can be good and it can lead you to the next mystery. But in some cases, it can just be contrived and whatnot and just like there for the sake of being there. When I saw those tentacles pop out of his like 4 eyeballs coming from the side of his mask that was ripped off, I was just like, oh, they're inserting mystery. Like this is just brand new. And we're just like supposed to be like, what the fuck's going on with this guy? But it's interesting that you took the opposite notion and you're like, oh, I must have missed something.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's clear that that body he switched to was just like a chimera body, because as soon as he rips the black mask off of the one that got taken out by the kids, and he he like stands up and whips his tail out, kind of almost does some who's that puppet master from Naruto that was hunched over forever? No, the one that gets jumped on the bridge,
the guy
Tori or something, I forget.
Yeah,
but he kind of did one of those moves, you know, that he just kind of stands up and he's all of a sudden the same dude, puts the helmet on, but he has a tail. So I mean, they kind of like tell you right there that he's like part beast, but
Yeah.
I thought it was just kind of weird because as soon as I saw the eye pop out, I just thought back to that white beast that almost killed him on those water lily plateau things from the original 13 episodes.
To me, it's really interesting that you bring up Naruto because I found a lot of Naruto parallels in this anime movie. First of all, the Umbra hand.
Orochimaru.
The Umbra hand, which is basically the clones of Bondrewd that he can just skip into whenever he wants. That reminded me of Pain from Naruto. Pain had all of his little puppet clones.
Yeah.
Felt very similar to me. Then we have Reg's ultimate form when he fights Bondrewd at the end of the movie with like this shadow cloak of darkness and he goes all crazy. This reminded me of, from Naruto, Naruto's Demon Fox cloak. It was very similar. What do you think about these Naruto parallels? Do you think that Masayuki Kojima perhaps might be a Naruto fan?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to. I mean, original Naruto's OG as fuck. I understand if you're like, Shippuden was too much, because it was a little bit too much in some regards, but nonetheless, yeah. That's like saying you hate Dragon Ball. Like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen thousands of hours of anime, but I will stand by the fight with Gaara and Kinemaro at the end of the original Naruto as one of the greatest anime fights of all time. I still think about that fight from time to time. It is fucking badass and iconic.
Yeah, dude. Drunken Box Rock Lee versus Kinemaro.
Yeah. That was good.
That was pretty dope. That's honestly, I think Rock Lee, not to get off too off time, he's underrated, man. He's underrated. He's one of the main reasons why Naruto like ended so great. That boy put everything on the line. Everyone's just like, it's like kid got no legs anymore. Fuck him. Everyone forgot about him.
Yeah, but getting back to Dawn of the Deep Soul, what did you think about the kind of updated group dynamic in this movie? Because in the anime, it was just Reg and Ruki for the entire anime until the very end when they met Nanachi in the last couple episodes, right? So this movie has Nanachi the entire time, and it's like a threesome. It's a 3-person group dynamic. I thought that really improved it. I really thought that those 3 together was much better than the 2 without Nanachi.
Yeah, it definitely made group dynamic more tolerable, but also slightly more creepy. As everything in Made in Abyss comes with a slight amount of creep.
They make you pay for it. They do. They take their toll. Speaking of, just in general, the Bondrewd and Prushka arc was dark as fuck. Can you believe how dark that shit was?
I mean,
when they start showing that backstory, how Prushka came to be, and you see it go all the way to like when Prushka meets Reg and the crew, and you're just like, oh my god.
I know it was dark for no reason too. Like it was one of those things where they clearly made it dark just for shock value.
Yeah, dude.
They're like, not only is she an orphan, she's a retarded orphan. He somehow hugs and heals like one of those like fucking mega church pastors. He like smacks the demon out of her. And he's just like, love healed her.
Yeah.
The fucking clones were like, you're right.
Yeah, and not to sound like too much of a monster, but I think that's what made Bondrewd such an amazing villain. Is all of this. Like, you're just like, dude.
Well, it's like I really liked. There was one line that what's her name? The furry starts with an N.
Nanaki or Nanachi.
Nanachi, yeah. Says to Bondrewd like towards the end when he's like cut in half, and he's like pretty much just like, you know, after Prushka is like speaking for him in the slow-mo part of the fight right before he got cut in half, and then he's in half and he's coming to the realization of what she was narrating, and he's just like, yeah, I've already, you know, forgiven everybody, and I'm just gonna help you guys out, like, you know, don't worry. And she says that like, I can't even say anything to you or something like that. It's like, that's kind of why he's a really good villain, because he doesn't have like anything you can really hate. He's like a creep, but every time you're about to be like, this guy's like terrible, you find out it was like for like some grand good, you know, like even Prushka in the end, like you have to scratch your head and wonder like how that movie ended was kind of implying that Bondrewd had some type of enhanced foresight that Prushka would become the White Whistle, almost like some fucking Bailet shit from Berserk, you know, like this is some
no doubt, dude. The thing that the reason I didn't like the anime version of this show is what was missing that is now present in this third movie. And that what you just brought up is exactly that. Like in the anime, like it was just sort of like this weird adventure with these two characters with some really weird overtones and not a lot happening, and sort of a nothing burger anime till the very end when Nanachi shows up and you see her background with Bondrewd, and which sets up this movie, which is really the most exciting part of the anime. When you see the writing in this movie, and you see Bondrewd with like what you're saying with this foresight, and it's like he raised this girl with love, only to turn her into a suitcase of flesh, a pumping heart and pink ooze coming out. And you're like, this is the and by the way, implications of molestation. Like, this is just like the most horrible shit you've ever seen. And it's like, in the end, it's like, oh, but actually he was doing it just to give Riku the white whistle so she could go to the 6th floor on an adventure with his daughter that his daughter actually wanted. And you're just like, oh, fuck, was I the dumbass? Like, you say to yourself, was Bondrewd right? And then it throws everything out of whack. The whole narrative is lost because you're like, was Bondrewd right? And that is what makes Bondrewd such a great villain. It's what makes this movie so much better than the anime.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that Bondrewd just had like way more of a presence. Like the movie was pretty much all Bondrewd. Let's be real.
It was. It was the Bondrewd movie for sure.
It was all Bondrewd.
Yeah.
You know, here's something that might, you know, it's in conspiracy territory, but I'm pretty damn sure I'm right. I think Bondrewd is that dude that was at the beginning of the anime that like was Riku's or Rico.
This is a live fire exercise.
Anyway, I think it's Riku. Riku's like mentor, like that kind of portly male figure.
I think it's Rico, but you just say whatever you want, man. We don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, though? He was a black whistle.
Yeah.
He like leads them down to like the second layer, and then he's like, all right, I'm out of here. I can't take you any further.
Yeah, well, he was the one who kind of was like, your mom was a white whistle, and that makes her something I'm not going to feel comfortable talking with you about right now. So I'm out. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that dude is Bondrewd.
Oh.
Because I just remember his gray chin strap beard, right? But he was portly. But if you go back to the movie, when he takes that black mask off of the fucking mutilated one under the rock, they purposely show you this frame where it only shows you the bottom part of his chin and a part of his lip, and right before the mask is getting put on, and he has the exact same gray cut chin strap, but he's thinner, obviously. He's tall and thin, but that's not too far off because he has multiple bodies he obviously can change through. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty sure, like, unless going further in the anime that it gets ruled out, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that was purposely like a clue shown to make you kind of think back to that dude, because he's the only, like, why would they show just the bottom part of Bondrew's actual face when they're clearly trying to hide it?
Mm-hmm.
And the one part they do show can only be connected to one of the other male characters present in the anime.
Yeah.
You know, it just seems like, I don't know. It stands out to me.
That's interesting. I don't remember that, but I believe you. And I think that this movie does a really good job of putting the series in a place where I'm actually interested in what happens next. Because when we finished that anime, I was kind of like, okay, whatever. And then on a whim, we decide to watch and review this movie. And when I finished, I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to watch the next movie. I'm interested in this. I like this now, even though it makes me uncomfortable. I like it. The writing's on point. The directing's on point. Everything got really flush, really tight in this movie compared to the anime. And I think that maybe what you're talking about from the anime in that early on period might have alluded to this. And perhaps the anime was going over one of the softer parts of the source material, and they just didn't quite get far enough for it to pop.
I mean, maybe. It's hard to tell. It's one of the few animes I watch nowadays that I didn't get to some part in the manga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, before we get to our stellar award-winning segment that hit the miss and the whiff, I want to bring up one more topic. And that would be the ending. With Prushka being turned into a meat bag and watching her pet Manya lick up her pink ooze. Listen, they didn't just do this in one frame and one scene. Dude. They showed it like 4 fucking times, especially like lick, 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 and then it'd go to a different scene and something else would be happening. Then it'd go back to it and be like lick, 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 lick. It showed this goddamn pet eating up her fucking master's ooze coming from this suitcase a few times. This was one of the most disturbing parts of the entire movie for me. I couldn't believe it. It would put it on, I think that this put it on like the level of Berserk in terms of raw, gross, gory
performing in the
brutality.
White Whistle for sure. Dude, when she had the briefcase and like the bubbles start coming, she's just like, oh, you know, like being held up and she's I'm like, bro,
dude,
like what the fuck? Why is this happening? And then the White Whale, I was like, okay, all right, you guys saved yourself.
They did, didn't they?
Because that was some real unnecessary shit for a second.
So what do you think? What, like, if you had to rate your number one most disturbing scene in this movie, what is it? Because for me, even with the fucking Papa Pole bullshit we talked about earlier, I still think the most disturbing part for me is the Prushka meat bag sequence with her pet licking her blood pink ooze up from, like, there was something about that just disturbed me on a core level that I can't quite explain.
I'm cool with that because that's just an animal, you know? Like,
cool
I get it, all right? And there's tons of animals that lick up blood. That's just like,
but it wasn't blood.
Eat raw meat.
Let's not be real. Let's be
blood.
That was not blood. That was pink ooze. blood is
whatever.
red.
It was whatever juices were keeping her alive in that briefcase, which I'm sure tasted sweet to fucking that animal. All right.
So you're going the pure sustenance route with this. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going the moral high ground with this one, which is I'm not down with Papa Pulse.
No one, listen, Broadcaster Nickels, no one is down with Papa Pole.
All right.
That was the term Papa Pole is really one of the most egregious terms I've ever heard in anime history. And on that note, Broadcaster Nickels, here on the Crack Cellar Podcast, as you know, we have a segment called The Hit, the Miss, and the Whiff. What is your
Papa
hit?
Poles? Papa
Your
Poles.
hits, Papa Pole? Broadcaster Nickels, explain yourself right this second.
It was provocative. It was eyebrow raising. It got your attention. It set the bar really high. So now they're going to have a lot of creepy shit just go right under the radar now because you're like, well, at least it's not Papa Pole.
Oh, you're right. They're just priming the audience. So like when
they're setting the tent up, if you will.
They're setting the tent. Well, Broadcaster Nickels.
I'm just kidding. It's not.
No takesy backsies, Broadcaster
The
Nickels.
hit obviously is Bondrewd.
Oh,
Clearly the hit is Bondrewd. I mean, that guy was like, he held that whole movie on his back.
It was his movie.
Besides like maybe, a couple lines from all the characters here or there that were truly some good, some big brain thinking moments, but for the most part, it's Bondrewd. Bondrewd just comes in as a fucking excellent villain, and he just puts the whole series on his back. Every scene, it's like you're just waiting for Bondrewd to show up,
and he really
and even at the end of the anime, when you're like, oh, Bondrewd's defeated, he gave up, and they're all going down in the force field. Bondrewd's just looking back on him with his posse. He's just like, that's right, bitches. This is all part of my plan. Go down. So I can't help but he is the anime right now.
He set a very high bar for whatever comes next. That being said, my hit is the White Whistle. This anime starts with this really basic concept of what whistles are and how they like escalate and how they ascend. And this movie sort of takes that concept and makes it needlessly dark in a very good way. Like you wouldn't have expected it to go this dark, but like, whereas Papa Pole, you're like, that was needlessly dark in a bad way. The White Whistle was needlessly dark in a good way.
Maybe we're just on Japan's level. They're like, you guys think you're into dark comedy? hold my fucking soy beer.
Yeah, and like it's a multifaceted thing too. Like it's not just like the concept of White Whistle, but they add like this lore to it where Bondrewd used himself to create his own White Whistle, meaning that Bondrewd himself is just like this copy of himself that's no longer a human, which adds to the mystique of the greatest villain in the show. And the whole highlight of the show, as you just said, is Bondrewd. So it just adds to his legend. And then it adds like this little poison pill to the concept of a White Whistle, because now you're like, wait a second, was Rico's mom a killer like Bondrewd? Like, what was Rico's mom all about? Because all White Whistles have to make their whistle the same way. Bondrewd used himself. What did Rico's mom use to make her White Whistle? Like this adds like this undercurrent of sinisterness to the whole concept of what a White Whistle is.
Weren't both her parents raiders?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You think
the story?
You think Papa's the white whistle? Is that what you're trying to?
It's been so long, I forgot how it really went. But I don't know if they went down together and they just were never heard about, or if it was like Dad went in after Mom after she wasn't heard about, and then he didn't get found or something.
I don't remember exactly how it happened, but they both went down and they both didn't come back up. So
yeah.
So
I think Dad's been in her pocket the whole time.
Yeah. So for me, the whole transformation and explanation they did with the whole white whistle concept in this movie was the hit for me. It totally added this credibility to the storyline as far as I'm concerned, where they just took this thing that could have been a throwaway, nonsensical thing that it didn't really matter, and they made it the crux of what's happening in the anime, and I like that. That being said, Broadcaster Nickels, what is your miss?
Dad pulls. No, I mean the miss is just the clear. Maybe pedophilia is a strong word. But there's obviously some dark chi, some dark energy that is infused in this anime that maybe is just going over my big American Western head, but I don't know. Bath scenes with what clearly look like children. Maybe they're not. I don't know. But clearly, you get a feeling for these things. There's like, it's like a barometer. You feel the pressure in the air and you're just like, yeah, this is not, I shouldn't be around this type of thing, And there's just like other hints, where they unnecessarily like literally draw the nipples. They get close up and they show you like the nipples. And it's just like, what was that? What was it,
Well, that's interesting. So that's why this anime is interesting, because Prushka clearly is supposed to be older.
Yeah.
Because she has tits, and
still weird.
It is weird because she's drawn like a kid. Prushka is drawn like a kid, but she has tits like she's a teenager. And they even go out of their way to say, "Oh, I'm of a certain age. That's why I close my door at night." It's like they're really trying to make it like cemented, like, "Oh, I'm older. I'm like a teenage girl. I'm not a little kid like you, Rico." And with Rico, they never showed nipples. Like, they showed some weird, questionable shit in the anime, but they never showed her tits, which is a line that they decided not to cross, thank God. I think that Rico is supposed to be a kid, and I think that they're basically trying to whitewash their entire animation style by saying, "Hey, look here, look at Prushka. She looks like a kid, but she's actually a teenager, and that's why we're drawing nipples right now." And
it's totally illegal.
Yeah, I'm probably going out of my way to defend them, but
suspiciously so.
It's a very clear distinction with Prushka. Prushka was drawn as sort of like a kid, but noticeably with breasts.
So, when was the first time you went to Epstein's Island?
I was there with Bill Clinton every time, all the time. That being said, my miss is Nanachi always talking over the action and fight sequences. What the fuck was with that? Every time anything of notice was happening in this movie, Nanachi would be talking over the scenes. Like a villain describing her evil plan as it's happening. Did you like that? Because I thought that sucked.
That was just like another one of those elements to the anime where I just felt like something was missing. Because they were like trying to make her some tactician, and she doesn't really have any background for that. So it just made it weird.
Even if she was a tactician, like, why would you have her narrate over the only action scenes in the movie? it like ruined the action scenes. It was weird.
Well, the anime is just weird to begin with, you know,
That's
like
true.
like when they cook, like they do like the preparation subtext in the corner. Like that was weird when they were preparing the sashimi. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, that being said, Broadcaster Nickels, what is your whiff?
A whiff. I think the whiff probably, you know, just for this movie clearly, is that you didn't even get to see the sixth layer. You know, I mean, they did a really good job being it on only one layer, and there was no real progression. But I don't know. I felt like they could have done something. You know, like they could have maybe had some past memory scenes with Bondrude. They kind of show you some visuals down there. Maybe have a scene with her mother. Maybe finally give you a visual of her mother. Something like that, you know. But it literally ended with them going down. And then for how long the wait is between these and people that don't read the manga that just want to watch this anime, which I'm sure is not a lot of people. Usually people that watch these animes and stuff go out of their way to read the manga if there's a drought or they know a long hiatus or even no potential for there to be any more anime. So, yeah. I think that's the whiff.
Okay. Well, Broadcaster Nickels, I have to disagree with you wholeheartedly. My whiff is the reg dick-sucking machine. What in the godly fuck of goddamn, what the fucks?
It was a catheter.
Dude, okay, so at a certain part of this movie, they abduct Reg, and they start taking him apart to put him in the suitcase, sort of like they do with all the other kids. They take his arm off. Okay, whatever. They cut his arm off. That was pretty brutal, whatever. Then it like pans out and it shows that there's like this fucking dick sucking machine on his groin. And you're like, what the fuck is this? And you're just sitting there in disbelief, right? And you're like, okay, they're only show that once. That was just like one frame. We're going to move along. Nope. Shows you again. Then shows you again. And then to add insult to injury, it does like this secondary scene where it shows like the members of the Umbra hand working on him being like, look at the urine flowing from the dick sucking machine. Yes, that's normal urine. That's perfect flavor. Yes, let's go on. I think I need to do this now to extract better urine. Like, it's one of the most disturbing scenes in anime I've ever seen. And this includes Berserk and any other crazy anime you've ever seen in your life. This is up there with the most disturbing scenes of all time. Period.
Yeah.
The visual of seeing the dick sucking machine on Reg, and they show it like 5 times. It's not just once. They show it like 5 fucking times. It is something you cannot unsee.
It's it definitely stands out.
Why did you?
That was actually I think that's one of like the first moments in the anime, this movie, where you're like, oh yeah, I'm watching Made in Abyss. So yeah, there we go. Yeah. I forgot where I was at for a second.
And we're back. Well, I would really like to interview Hideo Kojima and understand his involvement with his possible sibling Masayuki Kojima and really get behind this. In the meantime,
we can't confirm nor deny this relationship, just so you know.
In the meantime, Broadcaster Nickels, as you know, here in the Crack Cellar, we have an official, patented cage rating system. On that system, what do you rate Made in Abyss, Dawn of the Deep Soul?
I'm gonna give it a rock. Give it the rock. Because while it is great, that's handling some dangerous ordnance, you know? And a lot like the movie The Rock, Nick Cage, some parts of the movie doesn't look like the right man for the job to be holding that type of equipment, but somehow it works out. I feel like that's where Made in Abyss is at right now. I'll come back for more. But has a chance to take a deep, deep dive.
How much deeper could it dive? I mean, honestly.
I mean, the director/writer could get arrested tomorrow for child sex ring organization or some shit, and then I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm not watching the next episode."
You just wake up tomorrow morning and like there's a text notification on your phone: Masayuki Kojima arrested on child trafficking charges in Japan. You're like, "Yep, I saw that."
Dark days.
Well, I'm going to give this a Con Air. I actually really, really like this movie.
How much do you like it?
Disturbing scenes aside. I everything except for Papa Pole and all of the other bullshit I really liked. All the way from the fact that the whole movie centered on Bondrewd and his obsession with figuring out how to control the blessing. Like this good version of ascending the abyss that isn't available unless you have like this weird love connection with someone who's dying right next to you. Like it's like this Romeo and Juliet sort of concept that is really unique. And I loved that about the anime. And I love the villain. I love the new character dynamic between the group with Nanachi showing up. I really liked Prushka until what happened to her happened. I liked everything new that they put in. I feel like this movie was an answer to every criticism I had of the anime except for the weird child sexualization, which they wholeheartedly continued to my dismay. But I'm not going to hold it against it other than just taking maybe a little bit off the top and say, yeah, you could have just tamed back a little bit with Papa Pool. But otherwise, I really enjoyed the dynamic with the whole shadow demon fox cloak that Reg had in his super form when he awakened from the electricity charge of the power core. I really liked the Umbra hand. I loved the fight sequences. I really loved almost everything about this anime, so I cannot give it anything less than a Con Air.
Has Con Air moments, that's for sure. But I feel like it was Dave Chappelle's body thrown off the plane early on.
Just look at that scene where they first run away after they cut Reg's arm off and they rescue him and they get on the boat and they run away and fucking Bondrewd catches up to him in the cave and like they have this master plan where Nanachi was in a nest of these like evil bug creatures and tricks him, and like that whole scene was so good.
They're on Clandactu for a fucking second.
Yeah, man. Like there are so many amazing parts to this movie where I'm just like, man, you make me uncomfortable, but this is a good fucking movie I'm watching. I cannot discount that. So yeah, I'll give it a Con Air, and with that we will close out.
Play some Kenny Rogers. Kenny Loggins. I mean, sorry, Kenny Rogers. Ain't it Kenny Powers?
I said I'm not on steroids.